These ain't glorified gang or prison stories, man. These is lived experiences. Welcome back to the Swang Glow Podcast Show. Dude Rock Creep, it's an absolute pleasure to be back here at this round table amongst my round table family. Salute to all of y'all that is able to catch the live. Now, look, before we jump into what we gonna jump into, let me take this opportunity now to ask if you haven't already did it. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Swang Low Podcast Show. Do Rock Creep. It helps us get further into the algorithm and it costs you absolutely nothing. The goal is to continue to elevate. And as we elevate, y'all go on that journey with us. You feel me? Become part of the family, man, by subscribing. It costs you nothing. You feel me? You come sit at this round table with us. You can, jump in the live chat, the chat that's going on right now. Or if you catch it later, hop in the comments section, say what you gonna say, man. You feel me? We all are family here. We all keep it respectful towards each other and all that. Everybody uniqueness is embraced here at this round table. You feel me? Point blank period. So shout out to all the ones that's already subscribed to the channel, man. Y'all the ones that give us the legs that we need. So salute to all of y'all. And again, one more time, if you haven't already did it, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Swang Glow Podcast Show through Rock Creek. I would greatly appreciate that. Okay, now, look, I told y'all, I put it in the chat. You feel me? If you smoke, blaze you up some right now. You feel me? If you drink, man, hey, tip your glass up. Do it all responsibly, of course. I know everybody here is adults, but I have to say, please, all do it all responsibly. You know, I know a lot of my people here at this round table probably just getting off work. You feel me? Been a long day. Now you back at the house. You know, it's time to kick your feet up for a minute. You know, smoke you some, drink you some. You know, cut on the Swang Low podcast. Come sit down at this round table. You feel me? See what we dropping today, and you know that's how we gonna end our night, right? For sure. So anyway, man, shout out to my bro Diddy did it. You feel me? You throw that up on there. There we go. But anyway, so look, man, this situation occurred. I told this story before, right? But the last time that I told this story here at the round table, we was having a number of technical issues that day, right? Unfortunately. But however, a great story. You feel me? And I was encouraged and urged to, bring it back to the round table. You feel me? So why not? I believe it was a great story, and hopefully y'all find it to be a great one too, right? So anyway, this situation occurred in the year of 2013. Okay, in the prison, New Corcoran sat F on the sea yard, right? Okay, now while there, now mind you, that yard is a 180 maximum security level 4 yard, right? So bam, mind you, mind you, everything that goes down there is serious. Everything is considered to be like, extremely serious, right? So anything that pop off, especially if it's involving a crip against whoever, everybody is going to participate in that. Okay. So I say all that to say this. Beach Boy, shout out to my bro Beach Boy, man. Sending love and respect to you as always. You feel me? A long time, loyal member here at the Swang Glow Podcast Roundtable. You feel me? Salute to bro. So anyway, man, um, I told y'all the story about how back then in 2013 I was hustling, I was grinding real hard. And I was making my money, you feel me? And I'm doing my thing, right? And during this time period, it was a couple of people that I was forced to deal with because they was around me. And I always, it was a couple of them that that not just myself, but others that I communicated with, that I dealt with, felt like these dudes was rats, low key, right? So bam, we was kind of careful on how we moved around them, but really there was no way around them because see, the people I'm talking about is the Asians, right? I was dealing with a number of Asian guys during 2013, and during that time, this was when the Southsiders and the Northern Mexicans was still going at it. This was before the peace treaty, so you still had all that stuff going on. So you still had a lot of lockdown time. So you had all that going on. Then you had a lot of stuff, that was going on with the Crips and the Bloods and all that, right? So it was a lot of lockdown time. So usually when all this stuff is going on, we are all, meaning the Crips, the Bloods, the Southside Serranios, the North Daniels, even the Bay Areas, all be on lockdown. And the only ones that they can come out and have work to fill the positions that's going to be needed during these lockdowns is going to be the others. The others being like the Asians, the Samoans, like any Pacific Islander, is going to fall up under the other. So they 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 going 9 times out of 10 they gonna secure all the jobs that people would consider to be like the best. It gets you to certain people, and you get to be able to make certain money, right? So anyway, they was all positioned, right? But the only thing with that is like doing a lot of the raids and stuff that was going on around at that time, they was there, but they was never the ones that was getting raided. I believe I told the story on how they raided one day when they came and raided the homies from Watts, from Front Street Watts, Rock Nitty and TA from Front Street Watts, right? They came and raided these dudes, bro. This was the first time I had seen something like this. One day we out on the yard. This one we used to always go out and play basketball all the time. You feel me? Anybody who was anybody, you would find in one or two places, either on the basketball court or on the weight pile. Both places I was at quite often. So bam, one day we on the basketball court, and out of nowhere, now we outside on the basketball court, right? You got the outside basketball court, then you got the gym. But this day we wasn't in the gym, wasn't nobody in the gym. Everybody was out on the yard, right? So the gym is right next to where we play basketball at, right? So we all on the basketball court, and next thing you know, you hear, they bust through the gym door. You see all these street police in the local police uniforms. You see police detectives. You see a little bit of everything, right? Run through that door, and a whole bunch of them had dogs. I must say, a good. It was probably like all together, probably like a good 20 dogs, drug sniffing dogs and whatever sniffing dogs, right? They got whatever dog is trained to sniff out whatever, because I told y'all how they have the dogs that can sniff out the battery acid in cell phones, and that's how they'll find a lot of people's phones doing searches in prison, right? And or they had the dog trained to do different things. I can tell y'all like the step by step on the things that they do. However, anyway, all this go down, right? We on the basketball court, we watching all these police run out the gym. I'm talking about deep, deep. So if it's like 20 some dogs, it's probably like 50 some police, right? Running out the gym one after the other, all of them making their way straight to our building, right? I'm like, wow, right? The whole thing was centered around the homies from Front Street Watch, Rockin' Eddie, and TA, Front Street Watch. This is the first time I seen something like that, right? Where they had the street police, the goon squad, the prison police, everybody, right? Run in like that. That was the first time I seen that, right? They went and flipped our building upside down, found whatever they found, right? So bam. Now, now this was the beginning of bro them being on the hot list and was constantly getting ran up on. This was the beginning of when I started. I I'd start doing what I was doing, right? So so um once I started doing what I was doing, because all the heat was on them, I'm flying below the radar. But still, there was people around us that we felt was rats, unfortunately, and it was just because of how they moved. And then on top of that, everybody getting raided except them. Everybody get raided except them. And I told the story about a guy that was there by the name of Trub. Trub was an Asian guy, right? He was the type of guy that loved the attention. He loved that everybody knew that he was selling dope, or he, he was the man for whatever. He loved people knowing that he was the go-to guy. He was the person that wore all the Jordan shorts and Jordan jerseys and the Jordan shoes with the big fat link chains and the diamond earrings and all this stuff, right? He was that type of guy. So if you have somebody that's moving like that in prison, the police sitting back like, you in prison, you got all these gold chains on, big link chains. We know that's an expensive chain. That's not no ordinary chain. Them diamonds in your ears, we definitely know that's like, come on, man. You feel me? You got this type of watch. You can't even order out of no prison magazines. And they know the watches that you are only supposed to have. Like, these police ain't stupid. They train to see this type of stuff. Next thing you know, you fall up under investigation, because you're flashy. So typically, if you are getting down like that, they finna know you. But with this dude, Trub, he was exactly like that and some, times three, right? And the police never ran up on this dude. I remember one day, uh, I'm out working. I worked inside the building, so I would pass out the food and all that. Like, one of the Asian dudes would come out and help me. Sometimes it would be Trub, sometimes it'd be another one. But I remember one day being out there and and I'm taking the stuff out the cart, the food out the cart. But it was this one police, shady police, right? He came in and he like walked off to the side. And I guess he thought that I was just focused on doing what I was doing, which I was, but at the same time, I'm watching him. But Trub, like I said, is a flashy dude. So he's upstairs in his cell. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. This dude is so flashy, right? The Asian dude Trub, he's upstairs in his cell with his bright light on in the cell, right? And he's he's upstairs in his cell with the bright light on. And he's standing up because he's a little short dude. He's standing up on his toilet which is the toilet is right next to the front of the cell, which is right next to the door where you come in and out your cell at. So he's standing up on the toilet where he's very visible, and he's just standing there looking down at that police with like a smile on his face, and that police looking up at him very visibly angry, right? And he looking up at him like this, right? And he do this. He do like this to the Asian dude, right? And then he don't say nothing. His facial expression don't change or nothing. He just looking straight up at him. And the Asian dude, he just standing up there, just looking down and smiling. So when I see that, I'm like, okay. Like I said, typically when we go on lockdown, that's who they're gonna have come out working. So that's how a lot of the Asian the others were able to position themselves in certain areas around certain situations and was able to find different routes to be able to do whatever it was they wanted to do or needed to do, right? So um when I seen that interaction between him and this police, I'm like, okay, shady, shady, shady police, right? So Trub, like I said, never got searched, never, and I'm talking about I had it set up to the point where, okay, I've seen enough about you that where I feel like you might be a rat, right? To what degree, I don't know. So I don't ever want to get into it with you. I don't ever want to get on your radar to where you feel like you got to report me or go tell on me about something or any of that, right? So I always made sure when I came up on something, I just trub here, give him something. He'll be like, "What you want for this, bro? Nothing. Go ahead, do what you do." As a matter of fact, hey, I got a homeboy, man, that's looking for somebody to 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 go into business with. He's gonna need to sell some of this stuff. Like if you know anybody, oh, that's me all day. That's me. I'm there. Oh yeah, I didn't know you was into that. What you mean, man? Everybody around here know how Trump get down. Everybody, whoa, right? So, like I said, he was the type of guy that he loved that spotlight. So as long as you want that spotlight, I ain't gotta worry about it being on me. And being that we feel like it's a couple more of y'all that's within that Asian uh, uh, crew, right, was rats, right? And I told y'all about the other two. One, the other dude name was Casper. Casper was from Long Beach, right? Asian guy from Long Beach. Um, uh, now, I told Casper right to his face because me and him had like a cool relationship to the point where we joked about a lot of different things, right? But I promise you, I wasn't joking when I told him this. I told him, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm gonna keep you, bro. Like you and a couple of more of your people around here, I feel like y'all might be working under the table with the police or some shit, right? So he laughed it off. Oh, F you, fool, F you. Like, nah, for real though, man. Like y'all don't never get hit. Everybody else get hit. Look how many times I got ran up on. You like, yeah, I be seeing that whoever doing that, that's effed up and woo, right? So I'm telling him, I'm like, yeah, whoever doing it, I believe the ones that ain't getting hit is doing it, right? That's what I'm telling you, right? So this fool told me just like this. He was like, man, he said, he said, if it was me, right? He said, you know why I wouldn't do that to you? I said, why? He said, because it's more of a value to work with you than to do something like that to you and try to get you taken out like that. He like having we made a lot of money together. I'm like, true. He like, well, really, you've been killing me. See, he loved smoking tobacco. And at that time, I came across a lot of tobacco. And and thankfully, to his tobacco habit, that's how I got my first, well, one of my first cell phones in prison, right? It was like a flip phone. But I got it all from him buying tobacco, all his tobacco money. I said, you owe me so much right now. I said, just give me the extra phone you got and we'll just call it even. So he was like, man, he's like, you got some more tobacco in there right now? And I said, yeah. He's like, all right, you like throw me a couple of more hundreds and we got a deal. I said, all right, bam. Gave it to him, bam. And that's how I got the flip phone, right? So now that I know that 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 I was able to get this flip phone from him from just tobacco, right? Oh, I'm finna kill you. That's the only way that you will be able to get the Asians money, though. That's the only way. You're not gonna get them no other way. They get all the money. It's all money in with them. The only way you're gonna be able to get them is they got any of them that smoke tobacco. That's the only way you're gonna get. Other than that, they coming for your bread. You feel me? But anyway, I say all that to say this, right? So bam, being that I'm having all this money and these dudes knowing it, right? One day we on the yard. And the cold thing about it, I had just got like the last shipment of everything that I was supposed to get. So I was stacked up on weed and tobacco. You feel me? I'm talking about I had enough to make some thousands, right? So I'm cool. All I got to do is just sit back and just collect the bread, which I was doing. So this particular day, I wasn't even supposed to go outside, but I'm so much on the grind. I'm all bread, all money, all money. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, I'm grinding, right? All money in. So I go outside to grab. I think it was either $400 or $500, right? I can't remember exactly, right? So bam, I remember like, okay, I everything that I had inside my cell. Now usually all this stuff would be put up, right? Put up, everything just put up, and I don't even have to worry about it. This particular day, I had stuff put up, but it wasn't put up like how it was supposed to be. Now my thing was I'm gonna go out, grab this money real quick, and run back in, and finish doing what I was doing, right? So I would have had definitely a better chance had I stayed in, not went out and got that money. So anyway, I go out, me and the young homie. At that time, I had my young homie Rock in the cell with me. Shout out to Rock. So bam, we both go out, right? And I remember being standing on the side of the basketball court. Uh, and, and next thing you know, we see the side gate come open on the yard, and we see like all these police run through the gate, right? All these like goon squad, street police, all these with dogs and all that, the same way they did the homie Rock Nitty and TA from Front Street Watts, right? They run it in through the side gate, not the gym this time. They run it through the side gate, right? Which means where they started at on the yard, we watching them come in, so they got to make their way all the way around the yard, wherever they going. So they got to go past 8 block. They got to go past 7 block. They got to go past 6 block, right? Until they make their way around. Once they get past 6 block and all that, it's only 1 block left, not unless they're going to go through the gym and over to the other side of the yard, in which they didn't. So anyway, we stand on the side of the basketball court. We watch all these police running in through the side gate, right? So bam, I'm like, oh look, look. So bam, it was me and one of the homies from East Coast standing there, right? So I'm like, what building you think they going in? I'm like, I don't know, right? I'm like, I hope it ain't ours. I hope it ain't ours, right? I just remember saying that. So bam, they go past 8 block. I'm like, oh, they go past 7 block. I'm like, oh, they go past 6 block. I'm like, oh, right. So now when they get down to 5 block, that's where they stop and they go right in there. So I remember standing there, man, looking like, oh, so because all that stuff that I had inside my cell, it was like I said, it was put up, but it wasn't put up like I should have been. I slipped up running out to go get that $400-500, however much it was. I slipped up by going to get that, planning on grabbing it and running back in, and didn't even have that chance, right? So bam. Now, mind you, like I said, the way that they ran up in there this day is the same exact way they did to the homie TA and Rock Nitty from Front Street Watts, right? Mind you, the same Asian guys is there then and they're there on this day, right? So bam. Also, keep in mind, a lot of them owed me money. They was paying. Their money was good, but it was quite a few of them that owed that, they just fell in a rotation. So I was getting paid around the clock from them. So anyway, mind you, Troy is a flashy dude, flashy Asian dude. And the guy Casper that I was working with, literally like getting free uh 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 weed all the time from. You feel me? So me and him had a cool working relationship because I was getting free weed, then I'm selling him tobacco, tobacco up the butt, making thousands off of him off that alone, and getting free weed. You feel me? So bam. Anyway, they run up in our building. Bam. I'm like, oh, I'm through. I remember telling the homie, I'm finna go to the hole, bro. I'm finna go to the hole, right? He like, nah, don't think like that. Don't think like that. I'm like, man, I said, no. I said, look at this, right? This is about 50 police that done ran up in our building. Now, when they do that, we know we finna be out there for hours, stuck on the yard for hours until they are finished searching through everything with a fine tooth comb. They got dogs, drug sniffing dogs, and all that, right? So, bam, we out there, like I said, for hours. Now, bam, usually when the goon squad find what they find, they gonna come out and you're gonna see them with brown bags in their hand, right? That's the evidence bags where they done found what they done found, they done took pictures, they done got the whole little setup, the whole thing, right? So bam. Once they done doing what they doing, they put everything in the bags, then they gonna showcase it around, like they gonna stand there. So this day, after we've been out on the yard for hours, and they finish doing what they doing, bam, they come out, the going squad standing in the front of the building, they all got the brown bags in their hands and they got like smirks on their face, right? So bam. Um um we going back in the building. I'm not making no eye contact with these fools or none of that, right? I see them standing there though with smirks on their face. So bam, we go back in. Once we walk back into our cell, I see like the mattresses, all our mattresses was ate up. The dogs, they let the dogs go in there and eat up the mattresses and all that, right? They ate through everybody mattresses. So you just see cotton is everywhere, right? Cotton and people's property and stuff just everywhere. It looked like somebody literally went inside our cell and just turned everything upside down and just threw everything around and just kicked stuff around and right, real foul stuff. Dog hair everywhere. Dog hair all in your bed, all in your sheets, and dog slobber. Some dudes was finding dog pee up in their cell and all kind of foul stuff, right? So bam, once we go back inside the cell, I'm like, yeah, I said it's over with. So bam, couple of minutes after that, here come the goon squad. Yeah, 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 man. Come on, cuff up. Y'all know what time it is. They was like, yeah, they told us we was gonna find some stuff up in here, but God, we didn't know we was gonna find this much stuff. Like, this is crazy, right? The whole time I've been flying up under the radar, and I had this image around, around there, like, man, I'm not doing nothing. I'm out the way. I'm, trying to take these classes. I'm trying to, get everything straight from board and this and that, in which I was, but that's what they thought, like that was it to me, So bam, the whole time, I'm doing what I felt I needed to do, right? So anyway, bam, the Gold Squad come get us, handcuff us, like, yeah, you know what time it is. So bam, take us to the hole. Me and my young homie Bullrock, we go to the hole. None of the Asians go to the hole. None of the Asians get caught with nothing. None of the Asians even got hit. As a matter of fact, none of them got pulled out. Right? So bam, I'm in a hole hot because I know they told, right? So bam, this is when we're back there for we did the 9-month shoot in the hole. So now look, this is the twist to the story, right? Y'all seen the thumbnail, right? On the Crips Retaliate, right? Now, this is how all this unfolded. This is how everything comes into one. Now, when we go to the hole, the cell that me and my young homie Boardrock was in, when we go to the hole, the next peak person to fill that cell up that me and my young homie was in was this little Asian dude that came he came out of nowhere from a whole different prison, right? Now he wasn't there when I was there, mind you. He got there when we went to the hole. That day, he is the person that moved into me and my young homie's cell. So you had a young Crip there from rolling 60s, right? That was down the tier from me, like a few cells down, right? I believe at that time when he first got there, he was in the cell with the homie Smoke from 5'9" East Coast, I believe, right? And then, or he ended up in the cell by himself or something, right? I could be mistaken, but however, the young bro had get there. He wasn't there that long. I'm talking about the little homie from Rolling 60s, right? He wasn't there that long. He was there probably, I'm gonna say 3 weeks up until me and the homie went to the hole, right? 3 weeks. So bam, I got to know him within that little 3 weeks because I was doing business with him here and there. So bam, mind you, he's like probably like 4 or 5 cells away from my cell on the same tier. So when we go to the hole, the Asian dude come out of nowhere, I guess transferred in from a different prison that same day, and he go in our cell that we had just left from going to the hole. So bam, he's there The Asian guy is there no longer than a couple of days before he decided to just come out his cell on some renegade stuff, walk down the tier, and stab the young homie from rolling 60s. Right? Now, I'm gonna say this. As a matter of fact, when that incident happened, when that particular incident right there happened, Lil Bro from Rolling 60s was in the cell with a guy by the name of Kiki from Bakersfield Gangsta Crip, right? And when this incident took place, when the Asian dude stabbed Lil Bro from Rolling 60s, the dude Kiki from Bakersfield Gangsta Crip ran out on Lil Bro. And this was the person that he was in the cell with. When the Asian dude come out and get cracking on Lil Bro from 60s, the dude Kiki from Bakersfield Gangsta Crip ran out and left him for dead, didn't help him, assist him or nothing, right? So bam. But due to the incident and whoever was in that area, when the police got involved in that situation, they end up snatching Kiki up. So when he comes to the hole, he come with a different story. And it don't say on his write up anything about him running or none of that stuff. It just said that he was back there for the investigation of this incident, right? That's it, that's all. But he's back there saying, how when the dude got cracking on Lil Bro from 60s, how he chased the dude down the tier and the dude was swinging at him with a knife and running at the same time and all this and that, right? So anyway, which all that was completely false. We ended up finding out the truth. So bam. Now, now, when the Asian dude do that, he come back there to the hole. Now, if I walk to my door and I look out my door, I'm talking about while I'm in the hole, right? If I walk to my door and I look out, I can look straight across the hallway and see another cell. And that other cell that I can see, that was the Asian dude cell that stabbed Lil Bro from 60s. He was in that cell. So I remember the day when he got back there and all that, right? And seeing, I had already knew what had happened and all that because I was in communication with the homie Taco from 190 East Coast. We had figured out a way to communicate, be able to get messages back and forth to each other fast. While I was in the hole, he was still on the main line while all this was going down. So I knew everything that was going to happen before it happened, who participated, who didn't do what. This I knew everything, right? So as people was coming back there to the hole, I knew if your story didn't match, bam, he lying. You feel me? Or if it matched, yeah, okay, damn. So anyway, the Asian dude come back there. I remember the first time after he had got back there, I walked to the door and I'm looking over there. He walked to his door, he looked over at me and he was like doing like this, like saying what's up to me. Right. And I just stood there and just looked at him. And then like a couple of other times we'd be out in the dog cages. That's the like where we go have the yard recreation inside the dog cages. Right. So the dog cages is lined up next to each other. And he would either be next to me or probably a couple of cages over, seeing him there doing his burpees, working out and all that, or he'd be trying to work out with a couple of blacks in there because he couldn't. None of the Southsiders is not gonna. They don't embrace it. So the only ones that would embrace the Asians back there in the hole is the blacks, right? In this case, bro couldn't be embraced. Because what he was back there for. You're not gonna work out with me. You're not gonna have no engagements with me. None of that. I let all the Crips that was back there, you know what I'm saying, that came out when we came out know that. You know what I'm saying? It's like dude is off. You know what I'm saying? We not dealing with him. Period. You feel me? So bam. So that was the first wave, him coming back there for that. Now, the Crips retaliation to that, right? So cold hearted, orchestrated to the max, right? Build up your soldiers, clip up your soldiers, position your soldiers. And when it's time to strike, we strike them when they're at their weakest. We want to get as many of them as we possibly can, and we want to get them good. And we don't want to just roll over them. We want to crush them. We want to leave upon these guys such an impression that they would never, no, none of them would ever try this again. And on top of that, we want everybody outside of this that's watching, that's going to see this, to have second thoughts. If you ever think about trying this, like, this is how we coming. So that means we got to hurt these dudes real bad. And this is something that you have in your head, in your mind, with having the patience and not being a reactionary in times of war like this, right? This is something that you really have to learn. It's a controlled anger. You feel me? It's a controlled, you have direction, right? When you have direction and you're able to control that anger, that can be extremely deadly. And you got time to think out everything and try to plot to do what you need to do and possibly get away with it. Sometime in them situations, unfortunately, some people might lose their life, right? Because again, unfortunately, if it's war, the objective is to inflict as much pain upon the opposition as possibly you got to. You got to put your man down. You can't go into a situation playing with no other man, especially when your life is on the line. Like if his life is on the line, yours is on the line too. You don't know how no situation is going to turn out. It may not turn out into your favor. I've told you, I've been in positions going into situations where I thought it was going to turn out in my favor, and it didn't. You feel me? So yeah, hey man, you got to be as focused as you possibly can on putting your man down and making him stay down. You feel me? So anyway, bro, them position themselves where they were supposed to be positioned at, meaning all the neighborhood Crips. If you was neighborhood related in any way, shape, form, or fashion, you was gonna be in the vicinity of wherever the Asians was at. Now they was deep, the Asians, in 5 Block, the building that we was all in. That's where they was the deepest at. They was in there probably 20 something deep. Deep, right? So bam, okay, well, that's their stronghold. Okay, so now we got to position our soldiers amongst their stronghold. And on top of that, we got to get a couple of homies out in some of these other buildings. Get them out to the yard, position them, come out. The numbers is going to be either even or close to it. It's going to be good enough for us to be able to put down the coldest example that we got to put down, in which that's what the neighborhood court did. right? And this particular day, they baited them all in, got them on the basketball court. Feel me? Ran basketball with the dudes. Feel me? Going on water breaks with the dudes. Just setting them up for the slaughter. Setting them up for the slaughter. Because soon thereafter, the basketball games and all that was over with, and it was close to yard recall. As those started to group up and gather in front of the buildings that wherever they was housed in, something that people typically done, they allowed all the Asians that was on the yard that day to gather in their pack. After all those grueling full court basketball games that they had just ran with these guys that was from the slaughter them. Right? Now, mind you, when this is going on, I'm in the hole. Me and the homie Bull Rock in the hole, but I'm hearing about all this. I'm already knowing what's to come. It was kind of like a movie being played out. Imagine it was crazy because I'm in the hole, bro, and trying to set the scenery of being in the hole in administrative segregation is I've told y'all how the cells are, right? Where when you inside one of those cells and you go look out that door, you can't see nothing. You can't see down this way. You can't see down that way. You can just see straight out, and what you see straight out is a wall, right? That's it. Is it a window inside that cell? Yeah. But guess where the window was at? The window is up in the ceiling, right? It's a little slitted window up in the ceiling. So when you look up there and you look through that little window, it's a room up there where the police like a catwalk, where they can come by and they can look down at everybody's cell like that. Every cell got those windows in there. So they got to do is climb up there and walk through and look down inside of everybody's cell. And then on top of that room is windows where you can see the sky. So that's all you can see. When you look up and out that window up there, that's all you can see is the sky. You can't see nothing. So you're in a dungeon, right? So I'm laid off in that dungeon, trying to pass time in whatever way that I could. Because, like I told you, me and the young homie Bull Rock was back there for like 9 months, right? In this dungeon. But we thugged it out. You end up finding, making the program, and you adapt to the program. However, I had figured out a way to communicate with the homie on the main line, the homie Taco. So he's giving me play by play, rundown by rundown, everything that's going to take place, right? Who's going to do what, right? Coded messages. So bam, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for everything to take place. I know the homies that's going to come back here on this next wave that's going to make this trip back here to the hole. So I'm waiting. You feel me? I got tobacco and all that for them when they get back here. I had so much tobacco and all that. I had that in the hole too. So when they got back there, you know what I'm saying? I had tobacco for them. You feel me? And trust me, it was many of them that came back there in regards to that slaughter, in which I have to describe it like that because, like I said, at that yard recall, the others, the Asians, had grouped up, gathered in their little group. And as soon as they did that, this was after running four court games of basketball, bam, they got swarmed by a number of Crips. Swarmed, all wielding big knives, extremely upset and mad about the young homie from Rolling 60s that had got stabbed by the Asian guy. Him doing that sacrificed probably a good 15 of them that day. You feel me? In which, like I said, we all knew these dudes. We was all familiar with them. Some of them was cool. Like I said, some we had suspect as being rats, period, and which ended up proving to be true. But we dealt with all of them, so we all was familiar with all these dudes. You feel me? So when it came down to this playing out the way that it did, you know what I'm saying? There was nothing that made sense about this dude just transferring there and stabbing the Crip like that. And thinking y'all actually thought that that was gonna fly. See, this is the thing. It don't matter where nobody is from. If something like that, whether it's a blood that stab a Crip, whether it's a South Sider that stab a Crip, a white that stab a Crip, a Nathaniel that stab a Crip, anybody that do something to a Crip, all Crips is gonna respond. Period. You feel me? Because all those are acts of war. Diddy said, side note, I did 3.5 years in USP, Lewisburg, and USP, Atlanta 27 years ago. Oh, wow. Is that right? Diddy say 3.5, all in the shoe. Oh, you did 3.5 years in the shoe, or you was messing up? Diddy, you was messing up. You spent all that time in the shoe. You was messing up, bro. But you got him like that though, bro. You know what I'm saying? But with this guy doing what he did, he didn't care. He came on a mission to do what he did and get on, and he did it. He didn't care about the people that he was leaving behind. He didn't care about the people that was there before him that had established programs and relationships and friendships with certain people. He didn't care about none of that. He came and blew all that out the water when he stabbed little bro. You feel me? And I felt bad. I always felt bad. In all honesty, we was in the hole. I was hot. I used to tell the young homie Bull Rock all the time, like, man, I can't wait to get out the hole. Man, this is gonna happen. This gonna happen. That woo 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 wham, right? Just being pumped up. You know what I'm saying? And by the time we got out, like I said, we was back there 9 months. By the time we got out, man, that war had died down. I got out there, I'm asking everybody, man, what's the end result? Oh man, that's over with. They just bailed out. They done did this. They done did that and this and that and went wham. So it was pretty much left alone after months of nothingness. You know what I'm saying? But they had already got slaughtered. I ain't put no extras on it, bro. They got slaughtered, bro. Feel me? At that yard recall that day, they got slaughtered right there in that group. They was trying to run for their life. You feel me? They was getting hawked down though. Couldn't You can run, but you can't hide. They was getting hawked down, bro. And as they got hawked down, they was getting mowed down, bro. I'm surprised there was no fatalities in that. I'm not gonna lie. because the people that was involved in that knew exactly, like, you know, how to do what they were supposed to do, and they did it. You know what I'm saying? With marksman accuracy. Just there was no fatalities. Thankfully for them, for all parties involved, right? But that's how crucial this stuff be. All behind one renegade, and every blue moon you will get a renegade, bro. Every blue moon you get a renegade, bro. Did it say, and it's done by the administration, not by disciplinary. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's crazy, bro. He said that's how they get down where he at. It's done all by administration, not by disciplinary. So they can mess you over off the top. They'll mess you up off the top out here too, though. You feel me? When I was going through that, when we went to the hole for that, when we got caught with all that stuff, right? Once, mind you, we was back there for 9 months, right? Bam. Then finally we get out the hole. Bam. Now the district attorney is saying they picking it up. So now I got to start going to court and all this for a whole new for this case. They charging me. The prison is charging me with a whole new case in the courthouse out in the local city, right? For introduction to drugs on facility grounds. You feel me? So, bam, I'm fighting this now. On top of it's a process. 9 months is nothing. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, I did it. I didn't cry about it. You feel me? But at the same time, it was still the case. I once I did that and got out, they still they changed up all my stuff to it so I couldn't do nothing. Oh, did he say? But the time you're serving is a big deal. Yeah, man. It ain't nothing to brag about, but yeah, it is. You feel me? It is. I'd never in a million years, as a young dude, thought ahead like of me, you know, ever being locked up or incarcerated like this. I never in a million years thought or even thought in the direction of, damn, bro, you gonna be locked up to witness and see all this stuff and be locked away from this and that. You experiencing a whole different world, the complete underworld. Prison is the complete underworld. You feel me? The complete like is different. Your conditions, the way that you got to live, especially out here in California. California prison, races, I don't know what. Probably the absolute most racist ever, anywhere. You know what I mean? So it's just certain things, certain conditions you have to live under. Um, being in California prison on the main line, general population, uh, certain things that you got to live by, which I see as being just grown man stuff. It's simply just respect. Everything is based around respect, man. That's it. That's all. Everybody wanted, all grown men want respect, right? So what's hard about being able to maintain giving somebody respect every day, every day? Feel me? I command it every day, so why I can't give it every day? That's nothing. Feel me? Beach boy, beach boy say, I don't want to do 9 months, and that's it. That's ugly. Yeah, man. Hey, and beach boy. One old head that's in the same joint you in on YouTube. You get the Brother Cook Show with you far too. Oh yeah, man. That dude is funny. Did it. The cooking guy, he's funny. I ain't gonna even get into him right here though. But I know exactly what you're talking about. Hey, Beach Boy, that's real though, man. Dudes was offing themselves in that hole. Especially when I was in New Folsom. New Folsom Hole was probably the darkest, uh, ghostly, um, eerie place I've been in. Soon as you walk in there, it just feels you just like this is crazy, right? It was so many dudes going in there hanging themselves because of whatever. I guess they couldn't take it, or it was I don't know. I don't know what it was, right? But it was a lot of people that was going in there doing that, right? To the point where the psychiatrist stayed up and down the tier all day, coming and going to different people's cell all throughout the day. They're gonna make their way to your cell all throughout the day. And they do suicide watch. They check you um um every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, they got these little machines when they walk by your cell. They tap that little machine thing on your on that's connected to your door. That's alerting wherever that machine go that you're alive. They see you, and they document what they see you doing inside your cell. This is every 15 minutes, every all throughout the day, every 15 minutes throughout the day, all day, every day. You hear that bing, bing, bing every 15 minutes. Bing, bing, bing. You feel me? So, you know, they got that. And then, like I said, the psychiatrists, they come back there and they be real heavy on the suicide prevention stuff, right? So anyway, there was a lot of that going on, man. A lot of that going on. You feel me? I think the last time I was in New Folsom Hole, two people ended up unaliving themselves back to back while I was in there. And during that time, I think I was only in there for like 30 days that last time. Two people within that 30 days. You feel me? But I mean, it's crazy being in there. Like how I described to y'all how the rooms are built. You feel me? You have two beds in there, one here, right? Then they got the little desk that's right next to y'all to the beds, right? Then then they got the toilet and the sink right next to the door where you come in and out the cell at. So the toilet is facing your bed, right? So when y'all in there, y'all have to make like a curtain, you know, which is nothing to make. Put the curtain up and you do what you do. But each boy said that's crazy. That has to mess with a person's mental for them to harm themselves. Yeah, man. Hey, Beach Boy. I'm not gonna lie. I always thought that, bro. Like, like you have to be different to have the courage to want to harm yourself like that. That takes an extreme amount of courage. The average person, that ain't something that you would ever wake up thinking about, let alone sit around contemplating doing, you know. But I don't know, man. I've always thought about the dudes that has done that I've known personally that has done it, you know, tripping like what was your breaking point? You feel me? What made you choose this specific day, this specific time to do this specific thing to yourself? You feel me? And I remember when I was in Calipatria State Prison, right? We was in the hole, and it was this cell. I think it was cell 240, either 244 or 245, right? That's in C section upper in any building, right? Well, that cell is the cell where it was this little young guy from the IE area that had ended up there, and I think he had a life sentence. I believe he had a life sentence, if I'm not mistaken, right? But he was a little young dude. He wasn't at that prison that long. I didn't know him personally, um, because he had just got there. But bro, get there, and he was messing up, and they ended up sending him to the hole. As soon as he get to the hole, he get back there and hang himself, right, in that cell, hang himself, bang. I know who you talking about, Diddy, did it? I know exactly who you talking about. Um, but yeah, man, the young dude hang himself in that cell. So I remember us like how we was willing and dealing back there in the hole at that time. Like it was certain moves we would make to get certain things done. And I remember one of my homies having to move inside that cell where the young brother hung himself, right? And I remember like before him going up in there, us always having a discussion about, like what his thought process could have been doing that, right? Being that he was so young, wasn't there that long or none of that. You know what I'm saying? But end up taking his own life. You feel me? So I just remember me and the homie having a few discussions about it, and he ended up in that cell. And I remember, and I ended up moving next door to that cell. So I just remember, hollering at bro, making sure he was straight. Like, was he able to sleep, knowing where he was at? You know, him having like a few issues with it. However, he ended up straight, man. And 2199, what's up, bro? Bro says, speak on BGL, CCO, and Blue Notes if you've been there long enough. All right. For the people that don't know what that is, those are prison organizations, different prison organizations that he just put in the chat. As far as the BGFs, the CCOs, and the Blue Notes, right? Those are all different prison organizations. Things that I've had no parts of, right? So things that I typically had no part of, I try to stay away from it. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of above my pay grade, and it would definitely have to take somebody that had some type of impact within one of those organizations to be able to come and speak on it. Being that I personally had no dealings with any of those organizations like that, that ain't something that I feel comfortable enough with speaking on. Have I crossed paths with people within those organizations? Of course. Of course. These boys say, yeah, that needs to examine how a dude gathered the courage to hang himself. Yeah, that's real, Beach Boy. Hey, you got to be different, bro. You know, to be willing to tie something around your neck on purpose and knowing what the outcome of that is going to be. You consciously know this, but you don't care. You still do it. You different. I can never see myself being that different. I'm a different person. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? But on that level right there, I don't think I would ever be that different. You feel me? And I feel for people that is, man, that feel the need to do that, man. They don't see the precious beauty in life. No matter how bad things might seem at certain times, you feel me? Life is still beautiful. If I didn't believe that, I wouldn't be here right now. The Swang Glow podcast wouldn't be popping. I wouldn't be showing up like I do for y'all. None of this would never be happening if I didn't believe that life was beautiful and that you can create beauty from nothing. I'm the prime example of that. I've been saying that. All of y'all that's here, y'all done created something beautiful from nothing. We come from the same walks of life. The only difference is I'm sitting on this side of the camera, y'all on that side of the camera, man. That's the only difference. I made probably a more aggressive mistake, than some of y'all. Mine was a lot more costly than some of y'all's, So, but we still the same, man. Did he say I can only see the booties? Oh shit! Hey, but yeah, man. I don't. That's why we go in the direction that we go in here at the round table at this podcast, man. You feel me? Because I'm doing this from prison, and you got a lot of people that they sacrificing they freedom every day, right? For whatever reason. And it is what it is, if that's what you choosing to do, right? But the end result of of being willing to compromise your freedom and place separation between you and the people you love and the people that love you by losing your freedom and being placed in somebody's prison or jailhouse where you come and you under a whole completely different politic. You under a whole completely different structure. You got to live a whole completely different way now. Either you're gonna grow up or you're gonna fold. And what I mean by grow up is grow up understanding that you can't continue to do wrong and get away with it. There's consequences to everything. Your decision making has to become A1 now because it's not just about you. It becomes about a collective. And nobody's above the program. Nobody's bigger than it. That's what I mean by being wrong. Or you a fool. Oh no, man, I can't live like that. That level 4 general population way of living, I can't live like that. I'm gonna go over here where there's no structure. Well, I ain't got to live up under them politics. They don't want me to go home. They want me to catch time. Those that say they care about me and love me, they encourage me to go and and be with what they always was saying was wrong. You feel me? So now, man, hey man, this is just to give y'all a different perspective on what to look forward to from your decision making. Point blank period. You feel me? And like the story that I just painted out to y'all about how the homies slaughtered the Asian guys, all that from a renegade. You always get a renegade in prison, but that renegade is gonna cost somebody their life or get somebody seriously, seriously critically hurt. Quite a few of them dudes got critically hurt bad in that situation. You feel me? So, I mean, hey, it gets crucial like that, man. When you in the wrong and you moving in the wrong and you have to answer to that, there's consequences to that. And when you are being held to those consequences, oh no, it's dirty politics and they're no, you're being called up on being wrong. Period. You feel me? So yeah, man. Hey, it got ugly. It got ugly. Thanks to a renegade, a guy that thought he would be able to come out and just stab a Crip and it would be no repercussions behind it or whatever his thought process was. I don't know. Maybe he didn't care about those that was gonna have to get what they ended up getting, which was crushed. Crushed. Feel me? What y'all got going on for the rest of the night though, man? I don't want to hold y'all up too much longer. I'm finna let y'all get up out of here, man. Let y'all get back to y'all night, man. But what's popping out there though, man? Hop in the chat. Let me know what y'all getting into. Y'all suggested a lot of good movies, man, and me and Miss Golden end up watching uh 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 what was that? Hustlers. Beach Boys say it's crazy because a lot of Samoans and Asians push Crip on the streets. Yeah, man. Hey, they push Crip on the streets. They gang bang. They do all that on the street. But when they get come to prison, the Crip and Blood stuff, they don't mix with us. They do their own thing. They don't get in the Crip and Blood stuff. You feel me? At all. None. But on the street, they gang bang all day against, when they go to prison, whole completely different story. That's a fact. Oh, the life and times of the uncalled say learning Spanish. Learning Spanish, that's what's up, man. My bro, ended up picking up some Spanish, man, and used to be eavesdropping on people's conversation. They didn't know he knew Spanish. Just be sitting there listening, like he's fully straight talking about it. I'm gonna just throw you up on the board 'cause I don't know how to say your name, man. Oh, no reparations, no reparations, no vote. What up from Duval? What's up? What's popping in Duval, man? Shout out to Duval. Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you tapping in. What's popping out in Duval, though, man? Hey, I posted a short video in my shorts. Somebody was asking how my cell looked, right? And I posted a video of a guy sitting inside his cell. It wasn't me, right? However, it's the same identical thing. You feel me? So for those of y'all that want to know how it looked, instead of me picking up this camera and doing the whole 360, y'all can go to the shorts video and check that video out. You feel me? And it's encouraging people to never ever compromise your freedom to come sit in this pathetic cesspool. You feel me? You got so much life out there, so much life to be lived, so much to accomplish, so much to be accomplished if you apply yourself. Applying yourself, man, it just takes courage, and effort, period. You feel me? I had to have courage like I don't know what to do. Podcast from prison. Think about it. Yes, I'm patting myself on the back, man, having that courage. Okay, all right, that's what's up, bro. He said, man, we chilling street quiet for now. Keep your head up. That's right, bro. Shout out to Duval, man. Hopefully the peace stay in the streets out there. You feel me? We always wish that for get a youth the opportunity to come up right, get it right for once. You feel me? Real for real. Shout out, man, to everybody in the chat too, man. Shout out to everybody that was able to catch the live, man. Salute to everybody that's going to end up catching up to this a little bit later. You know what I mean? We've been trying to run the lives around the same time every night, give everybody the opportunity to catch up to it when they can. You feel me? Instead of dropping the videos like how I once was doing, it's been taking too long for the videos to load up, man. So, I just feel more comfortable with just coming live with chilling with my peoples when I'm able to. You feel me? Ain't nothing wrong with that. I know y'all not mad at it, you know what I mean? So I ain't mad at it, man. Plus, we get to hang out, we get to chill. Feel me? I get to hop in the chat and mess with my peoples. Feel me? Shout out to all y'all out there, man, in the free world, man. Y'all, hey, keep making the most educated decisions that y'all can, when it pertains to your future, man, and your freedom. Feel me? Real for real. Shout out to Miss Golden too. Shout out to my girl Miss Golden, man. It's definitely a pleasure having her on the other day. You feel me? Giving us a wonderful look, doing her little thing outside. You know what I'm saying? As well as sharing with us every blue moon, the golden hour. However, she like popping out with me, man. So we're gonna get Miss Golden pop out with me. You know what I'm saying? She loved being by my side. I love having her by my side. So we're gonna get her on more and more as much as we possibly can. Shout out to everybody, man, in the chat as well. Oh, okay. You came from Chill. That's what I'm talking about. That's my bro. For real, for real. That's my bro, man. Hey, you made a good choice too, coming to be a part of this family, bro. I appreciate you. I appreciate the sub too. Shout out to 16 to Life as well, bro. Oh yeah, hey man, once I give y'all whatever story that I'm gonna give y'all, I like interacting with the people. You know what I'm saying? I like interacting with the people. That's why I always encourage participation, man. Jump in the chat. You feel me? This we are all family. This is a round table. So when we all come sit at this round table, all our voices matter. You know what I'm saying? I encourage the participation, and I can't turn around and be mad when people actually start participating, and they have a unique character. They have a unique perspective. Well, I love uniqueness. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, we encourage participation here, man. Give me some ideas. You feel me? Or some thoughts. You know, let me know what y'all got going on, man. Something interesting that you may have seen or may be thinking about. Put it in the chat. That's what we're here for. A round table. Feel me? People been encouraging me trying to get the swing low after dark back cracking, but that is, I don't know, man. That takes a certain amount of raunchy. I think that might be a little too raunchy because that it definitely can get raunchy. I've seen it happen to the point of people begging to take the show down, take it down, take it down. My private life is effed up. The whole city is looking at take it down. I'm like, oh F, all right. Feel me? I don't know, man. We might go get the swing low after dark back cracking. We might sometime in the near future, you know. But like I said, that takes a certain amount of raunchy. And I don't know, man. Swing after dark means after dark, you know. Typically, adults are really supposed to be the ones up after dark. However, I do know that ain't always the case. So, but again, you know, I don't know, man. We'll see though. We shall see. I mean, to be able to do something like that, you would have to have people that didn't care about you know, you know, coming on a platform revealing their deepest, darkest raunchiness, because that's what was happening on Swango After Dark. You feel me? I'm talking about it got so crazy. Um, you know what? I ain't gonna say that. I don't want to get in trouble with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Some things have been, you know, buried, put away. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna leave it there. But I'm gonna say this: as far as raunchiness go, you know, of people coming on this platform revealing um uh certain sexual things about themselves, you know, it was just crazy work, man. You have to have been around long enough at the round table, you know, to know what I'm talking about. Because when just again, this was Swing Glow After Dark, right? When all that was going on, right? We wasn't this that's when we had really no direction. We just was, you know, getting our feet wet on YouTube. So we really had no true direction. So when we was doing the Swing Glow After Dark, you know, we was bringing private conversations that we was having in private onto this platform. And these was the type of conversations that was going on in private. And I talked to all parties involved that, hey, y'all want to take it over? And they was like, all right. And we did it, right? And it went haywire. You feel me? So it had to be pulled. So, you know, hey, like I said, if you have people that is willing to, you know, place their private stuff, you know, on a platform after dark, then hey, so be it. But again, you know, I'm not really eager to jump back into that, especially knowing what it brings. You know what I mean? Like I was always told, all money ain't good money. You know what I mean? So we're gonna stay in our lane, continue to do what we do until we figure out if there will be another Swing Glow After Dark. And you know, I would be open for suggestions. So again, hop in the chat, you know, and suggest what you would be interested in if we was to introduce a Swing Glow After Dark. Like, what topics would you want to jump into as grown, consenting adults? Right. And I'm not telling y'all no, don't act like no pervert or none of that. But, you know, whatever's a hot topic related to something you may have going on in your personal life or whatever, just grown people stuff after dark. You feel me? But yeah, man, got something to get on up out of here, man. If I feel God love long enough, I appreciate the time. Thank you all for popping out yet again here at the Brown Table. You feel me? Shout out to my girl, Miss Golden. I appreciate you always, beautiful lady, you know, for holding it down and taking care of the things that you take care of for me. Salute to you as always. Shout out to the whole entire Roundtable family, man. All of y'all that showed up today. Thank everybody for jumping in the chat, keeping it lit. Shout out to my boy Diddy Did It, Big Detroit. You feel me? Shout out to everybody, the whole Roundtable family. Love and appreciate you all, man. Finna get up out of here. Let y'all get back to doing y'all. Till the next time we meet at this round table, y'all take care, stay safe, stay vigilant. Let the people that see your life know you love them and appreciate them while you can, because tomorrow's promised to none of us. Feel me? I promise you that. On that note, I'm gonna get up out of here. Next time we meet at this round table, love all y'all. Triple gang.